Hello and welcome to Eye on Africa on France 24. I'm Vedika Bahel and here's our top stories from across the continent. A joint statement from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda after talks in Washington. Both nations have agreed to make steps to advance last year's stalled peace accord. We bring you the latest from our correspondent. Senegal says it's not losing its 2025 Africa Cup of Nations title without a fight. The country's football federation says it's taking the case to the Court of Arbitration for Sport after the Confederation of African Football stripped Senegal of its AFCON title in favour of Morocco. And in the Kenyan capital, a groundbreaking menstrual leave policy for government employees is making a difference and proving a success. We take a look at the No Questions Asked policy 3 months on after its launch. Thank you for joining us here on Eye on Africa. Our top story tonight. Delegations from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda have been in Washington, where there are efforts to bring last year's stalled US-brokered peace deal back on track. This comes after a deadly drone strike in Goma this month increased tensions there. More with our correspondent Emmett Livingston in Kinshasa.
The US, Congolese and Rwandan governments issued a joint statement on Thursday saying that they had agreed to concrete steps to further de-escalate the M23 rebel conflict in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. There are no details about what these steps are, but it appears to be a reiteration of what both Congo and Rwanda already agreed to in December. As a reminder, the Trump administration has stepped in as a mediator of the M23 conflict, and in December, the presidents of Congo and Rwanda signed a peace deal in Washington. Under the terms of this deal, Congo is meant to stop backing armed groups, especially the Hutu extremist group FDLR, which Rwanda sees as an existential threat. And Rwanda, in turn, is meant to withdraw its troops from eastern Congo, which it deployed to back M23 rebels. But the signing of this deal didn't lead to peace. If anything, in recent weeks, fighting has escalated across eastern Congo. A Congolese drone strike killed a senior M23 leader in February, for example. And on March 11th, according to the UN, a drone strike killed a French humanitarian worker in Goma, a city occupied by the rebels. Who carried out this strike hasn't yet been confirmed, but the M23 has blamed the Congolese government, and tensions have spiked across the region. Many observers fear another escalation.
Next, let's head to the UK, where Nigerian President Bola Tinubu met with British counterpart Keir Starmer at Downing Street on Thursday as part of his state visit to the UK, the first made by a Nigerian leader there in 37 years. The two nations agreed to a record-breaking steel deal as they push to deepen economic cooperation. Under the agreement, British Steel will supply 120,000 tonnes of steel to refurbish two major ports in Lagos, with the contract worth £70 million. Let's hear now from the two leaders.
A lot of work that we already do on the economy, on defence and security, but today is the opportunity to take that to another level with the agreements that we've been able to reach on export and on business exchange.
We need too much of the trade agreements, stimulate more economic relationship that will build our two nations.
Next, Senegal has pledged to fight the Confederation of African Football's decision to strip its Africa Cup of Nations title. The country's football federation announced Thursday that it had asked its lawyers to pursue an appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Switzerland. This after the Lion of Teranga's win was reversed by CAF on Tuesday, 2 months after the final whistle blew in a show-stopping final. CAF's decision retroactively declared rivals Morocco the champions. Let's take a listen now to the Moroccan coach.
When the decision is in your favor, it's easier. I'm satisfied with it and my team is happy too. It is important to focus on the now and the future. My ambition and my focus is to train the team up for the next World Cup, so I won't be dwelling much on the past.
Well, for more on this, our correspondent in Dakar, Caitlin Kelly, rounds up today's announcement. Let's have a look.
In front of Dakar's press corps, the Senegalese Football Federation have rejected the ruling by the Confederation for African Football that withdraws the victory of Senegal in the Africa Cup of Nations in favour of Morocco. The Confederation earlier this week had ruled that Senegal broke the rules when they walked off the match in dispute of a referee ruling. Senegal had returned to the pitch and scored what became the winning goal, but the Confederation have said this walking off forfeited them the match. The president of the Senegalese Football Association, Abdoulaye Fall, went through all the inconsistencies that befell this marred final, from the appointment of the referee himself all the way to the type of accommodation that the team were given. Fall told journalists that Senegal are ready with a pool of lawyers to fight this ruling in football and even sport's highest court in the world.
According to the law, Senegal cannot lose this match after the fact, and we cannot take away this title from Senegal. Senegal will remain standing and will legitimately defend this victory on the ground that we acquired on the field with the talent of our players, and we have given a mandate to our lawyers to follow this procedure through.
These events have sparked a strong reaction here in Senegal, from the streets all the way to the presidency. Diomaye Faye was pictured with the now disputed trophy in the background of a recent social media post expressing outrage. The Federation have said that Senegal will follow the CAF statutes when it comes to the Cup, which is supposed to be presented in a few weeks' time to the Senegalese diaspora in Stade de France.
Rwanda says Great Britain still owes it £100 million, that's about $115 million US, over the controversial migrant deportation scheme that was scrapped by Prime Minister Keir Starmer when he took office in 2024. The two countries crossed swords at an international court Wednesday in The Hague. Former British PM Boris Johnson agreed the deal with Kigali in 2022, agreeing to make payments to Rwanda that allowed the UK to deport asylum seekers there. The British government is urging the court to dismiss the claims, arguing that the countries had agreed to forego the payments. Next, as a boom in online gambling gathers pace across Africa, governments are hiking taxes to contain addiction risks and fill depleted state coffers. In Senegal, which recently introduced a new tax on gambling, civil society actors are denouncing a smokescreen measure and calling for better prevention and addiction treatment structures. A similar tax has also been proposed in South Africa, as Laurent Bersteker explains.
It's a familiar story for those struggling with addiction. After staying gambling-free for nearly 5 years, this 37-year-old Senegalese man, who wishes to remain anonymous, recently heard about a new online betting app. He first downloaded it out of curiosity, but soon enough, old habits began to resurface.
It has become automatic for me. When I have money, I play. It's like a reflex. I know how hard I work, how difficult my job is, and then I take all that money and I bet it on a game that I lose. It hurts, because it's only after losing that I realize what I've done.
The global gambling industry has exploded over the past decade, and Africa is no exception. The total value of online betting across the continent has been multiplied by more than 50 since 2013, and the industry is now worth over €2.5 billion annually. In Senegal, where the National Lottery reports record-breaking gains each year, the boom has sparked concerns over addiction, especially among young people. In an effort to replenish state coffers and curb gambling dependency, the government recently imposed whopping new taxes on betting companies and player profits. Yet critics have expressed doubts over the measure's effectiveness and are calling for better prevention and treatment structures for recovering addicts.
The government presented the tax as a way to deter those who suffer from addiction or who have an excessive gambling problem. But today, everyone agrees that we can't treat or cure addiction through taxation. What share of this money will actually help these people who are the gambling industry's main victims?
Despite the backlash, other African countries are hoping to take a page out of Senegal's book. South Africa recently proposed a nationwide 20% tax on online gambling profits, sending betting firms and lobbies up in arms.
In December, Kenya became the second African country to introduce a menstrual leave policy for female government employees, which gives them 2 days paid holiday, no questions asked, per month. 3 months on from its launch, the measure has been a resounding success, and the governor of Nairobi County, where it's been rolled out, says that it has in fact boosted performance. Laurent Bashtaker has this.
It's been hailed as a major step for women's rights in Kenya. In Nairobi County, female government employees may now take 2 days of paid leave each month to deal with the pain and discomfort caused by menstruation. Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, who spearheaded the measure, sees it as a moral imperative, but also as an investment in the workforce that will ultimately boost productivity.
It starts with dignifying your own staff, for them to feel that they're respected and they're dignified. Dignity is such an important thing. It will not be a train smash if 3-4 people in a department are not there for a day or 2 days. And so I think the good outweighs the risk.
The policy, which took effect in December, could benefit up to 10,000 female government employees in Nairobi County. It functions on a no-questions-asked basis and doesn't require medical permission or other forms of justification to go on leave, an acknowledgement of the social stigma still associated with menstrual pain.
It is so hard, you understand, like a conversation, the menstruation conversation, especially when it is a male to female conversation, it is not something that is so easy or would love it to be in the open.
While it's largely been greeted positively, the measure has also sparked some public backlash, with critics worried it could fuel discrimination and push employers to hire more male candidates in the future.
And finally, Morocco is blooming. The arrival of spring has brought with it new colours, in particular the apricots and cherry blossoms. The fleeting pink and white flowers add colour to the mountains and valleys of the Middle Atlas region of Morocco and signal to local farmers a plentiful harvest may be on the way. It's also a welcome sign that winter is on its way out and warmer weather is yet to come. Some lovely pictures there giving some colour to our screens. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of Eye on Africa. Stay with us, though, on France 24. There's more world news coming up next.